There was a time when the Valley of Strength smelled of dry earth, roasting meat, and the sweat of honest labor. It was the scent of survival. That scent is gone. Now the air tastes of sulfur and ground bone. Look up. You can no longer see the harsh, beautiful sun of Durotar. It has been choked by a ceiling of smog, a bruised thunderhead birthed from 1,000 smokestacks. This is not a city anymore. It is a furnace. Garrosh Hellscream did not build a sanctuary here. He built a weapon. Every jagged spire, every plate of black iron bolted over the ancestral wood, screams a single, bloody decree: conquest. The warm, spiritual hues of the desert have been erased, painted over in the stark, unforgiving totalitarianism of red and black. Listen to the heartbeat of this true horde. It does not drum with the shaman's rhythm, it grinds, it screeches. The relentless rhythmic clanging of the iron stars rolling off the assembly lines. Great wheels of death designed to crush hope as easily as they crush stone. We stand at the gates, not as defenders, but as invaders in our own home. The goblin engineering that was once a quirk of our allies has been weaponized into a nightmarest of industrial efficiency. Oil slicks run like black blood through the streets. The Korkron guards do not look at us with recognition. Their eyes are hidden behind cold steel visors. This is the facade of power. It is imposing. It is terrifying. But like all things built without a soul, it is brittle. We have come to shatter it. But to reach the tyrant, we must first break the city we swore to protect. The siege begins not with a roar of glory, but with the sickening sound of iron tearing into flesh. We leave the sky behind. The war on the surface is a cacophony of iron and thunder. But here in the throat of the world, the silence is heavy. It presses against your temples. We descend into the rage fire chasm, no longer a natural cavern of volcanic stone, but a hollowed-out bunker. The Underhold. It is a monument to paranoia. The walls are plated in cold steel, illuminated by the harsh, flickering orange of lava flows that have been diverted, enslaved to power the Warchief's war machine. The air is thick, hot enough to blister the lungs. It smells of ozone and treachery. This is the true face of the coup. Not a battle for territory, but a surgery to cut out the heart of the Horde. And the knife is in our hands. Walk these corridors. Look at the faces of the fallen. They are not demons. They are not the mindless scourge. They are the Korkron. They wear the same crests we once saluted. We see the bodies of Darkspear revolutionaries and Quel'Dorei rangers, tangled together with Orcish elites. It is a slaughter of intimacy. Every trigger pulled is a betrayal of a memory. A shared drink in a tavern, a shared victory in Northrend. The true Horde has turned brotherhood into a kill list. And amidst the grinding gears and the screaming saws of the goblin workshops, where Siegecrafter Blackfuse laughs as he turns engineering into torture, there stands a figure of tragic silence. General Nazgrim. He does not rage like Garrosh. He does not cackle like the goblins. He stands at the threshold of the inner sanctum like a statue carved from grief and duty. Do you remember him? Do you remember the soldier who stood by us in the Grizzly Hills? The warrior who held the line against the Lich King? He is the best of us. And that is why he must die. He knows it. You can see it in the way he grips his axe, not with the frenzy of a berserker, but with the heavy burden of an executioner who is also the condemned. He is bound by an oath that has become a noose. To him, honor is not about right or wrong. It is about obedience. Even when the command is madness, even when the Warchief is a monster, the fight is not a contest of skill. It is a tragedy in motion. He shifts his stance, defensive, immovable. The iron wall of the Horde. He shouts the orders of battle. The same orders that once saved our lives, now used to end them. When he falls, when the light fades from his eyes, there is no cheer. There's only the hollow clang of his weapon hitting the floor. For the Horde, he whispers, and the words taste like ash. We step over his body, not as heroes, but as survivors of a suicide pact. The gate behind him grinds open. The heat of the lava fades, replaced by a chill that has no place in the molten depths. The steel ends. The organic, violet, pulsating horror begins. We have killed the soldier. Now, we must face the madness he died to protect. The heavy, blast-proof doors of the inner sanctum do not slide open. They groan, as if the metal itself is in pain. We step through, and the roar of the factories behind us is instantly severed. It is replaced by a sound far worse. A heartbeat. Thump. 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 It is slow, wet. It resonates in the marrow of your bones. We have entered the vault of Yi Sharge. The visual transition is violent, sickening to the senses. Behind us lies the red and black iron of the Horde, rigid, angular, forged in fire. Before us lies the chaotic, organic violet of the old gods. The stark militarism of Orgrimmar has been breached by something ancient and cancerous. The floor is no longer solid stone. It is stained with a seeping, luminescent ichor that pulses with a life of its own. High above, suspended by chains the size of anchor cables, hangs the heart of a dead god. It is hideous, a massive, bloating organ of purple flesh and void light twitching against its restraints. It does not belong in this world, let alone in the center of a city built on honor. It is a parasite, and this room is the womb. And there, beneath the dripping shadow of the heart, stands Garrosh Hellscream. Look at him. Truly look at him. He is no longer the brown-skinned Maghar hero who wept by the fire in Nagrand. He is swollen with power, his veins blackened, his eyes burning with the pale, sickly light of the Sha. He has discarded Gorehel, the axe of his father, the symbol of his heritage. In its place, he wields Zalato, a desecrated image of the weapon, screaming with the voices of the void. He does not turn to face us with the respect of a warrior. He turns with the sneer of a god. He speaks of a true horde. But look around him. There are no orcs here. There are no soldiers. There are only twisted abominations, flesh warped by the Sha, minds shattered by the whispers. This is his army? This misshapen collection of horrors? The tragedy here is not just the corruption. It is the intent. The Twilight's hammer cultists sought to serve the old gods. They were slaves. Garrosh is different. Garrosh is worse. His sin, his fatal flaw, is pride. He believes he can harness the void. He believes he can enslave the nightmare. He looks at the heart of an entity that devoured civilizations and sees a battery. I answer to no one, he roars, but the shadows clinging to his shoulders tell a different story. The air in the room changes. It becomes thick, tasting of copper and sour milk. The shadows detach themselves from the walls. This is not magic as the mages know it. This is the unraveling of reality. The violet energy doesn't burn. It unmakes. It violates. Garrosh slams his weapon into the ground and the room fractures. The Sha of Pride manifests. It is not a demon you can cut. It is the physical embodiment of our own arrogance. It rises from the floor, a towering geyser of black and white energy, faceless and terrible. It reflects our own justifications back at us. Why are we here? Are we heroes? Or are we just killers with a different flag? The battle that follows is a blur of sensory overload, the clashing of steel against the unnatural, chitinous hide of the Sha. The ground erupting in spikes of solidified dread. The heart above beats faster, agitated, feeding on the violence. Every drop of blood spilled on this floor feeds the beast. The visual contrast is blinding. The golden light of the paladins, the elemental fire of the shaman, the fell green of the warlocks, all of it struggling against the overwhelming, suffocating tide of deep purple. It is a kaleidoscope of war painting the final canvas of the Hellscream legacy. Garrosh fights with the desperation of a man who knows, deep down, that he has already lost. He channels the power of the heart directly into his veins. His skin turns violet. He grows in size, a grotesque caricature of an orc. He is shedding his humanity, his orc-manity, piece by piece, trading his soul for one last moment of dominance. The bunker shakes. Dust falls from the ceiling, mixing with the void mist. The chains holding the heart groan under the strain. The perfect world Garrosh tried to build is collapsing on top of him, crushed by the weight of the very power he sought to control. He wanted to make the Horde eternal. Instead, he has turned its throne room into a tomb of madness. The screaming of the void reaches a fever pitch, a high-frequency whine that threatens to shatter glass. The visuals blur. Red iron, purple void, black blood swirling into a vortex of absolute chaos. This is the end of the argument. This is the verdict of the Sha. And then, silence. The scream of the old god dies not with a whimper, but with a sudden suffocating vacuum. The violet light flickers and fails, retreating into the cracks of the earth. What remains is the stark, industrial lighting of the bunker. The fantasy is over. The reality is a room filled with broken metal and broken men. Garrosh Hellscream lies defeated. But look closer. His body is shattered, bruised, and bleeding, yet his His eyes are not those of a man who accepts defeat. They are the eyes of a fanatic who believes the world is wrong, and he alone is right. He does not beg for mercy. He spits at the feet of the victors. The silence that fills the Underhold is heavier than the war drums. It is the silence of judgment. Thrall stands over him, the doomhammer heavy in his hand, a father looking at the ruin of a son. King Varian Rin sheathes his blade, a choice that weighs as much as the kill would have. The Alliance and the Horde stand shoulder to shoulder, not in friendship, but in mutual exhaustion. The true Horde has fallen, but the price was paid in the blood of our own. The chains are brought forward, cold, heavy, Pandaren steel meant to bind, not to kill. As the manacles click shut around Garrosh's wrists, the sound echoes like a gavel strike. We think this is the end. We think justice has been served. But as they drag him away, unrepentant, casting a long, twisted shadow across the floor, there is a chill in the air that has nothing to do with the temperature. We leave the bunker. We return to the surface, to the smoke-choked sky of Durotar. But we do not leave the darkness behind. We have merely caged it. And a cage can be opened. The Iron Horde was a nightmare of steel. But the true nightmare? That is yet to come. Time is a fragile thing, and hatred. Hatred transcends time. The trial awaits. But in the eyes of the Hellscream, the war has only just begun.